Hey guys, welcome back to the Wild Courage podcast. My name's David Simmons and I'm sitting here this morning with Jeremy Morris. We decided to switch sides of the table and switch roles today. I was driving up last week to attend our spring retreat, and on the way up just thought, we get to hear Jeremy every week. We get to hear you interview people telling their story as well as all the other things going on, but we don't get to hear from you in that aspect. So we're just going to flip the role today, and you guys will get to hear a little bit about where Jeremy Morris is at today, current time, real time, as well as some Wild Courage things. But first, we just want to thank our wonderful sponsors, Jedi Rice Rain Chains, Branded Denim Jeans, Saks Underwear, Ford Trucks.
Ford Trucks?
Yeah, Ford Trucks for sure. This is my side of the table.
Okay, so it's a bunch of crap.
So we're going there. Actually, none of those are real sponsors. They're just people we want free stuff from. So we're going to throw that out there. Hope they're listening.
If we're throwing that out there, then Dakota May,
Dakota May, Rawhide. We could just, that list is going to grow. It's okay. This is a growing project.
Potential sponsors.
Potential, yes. But in all reality, we do have a few people we want to thank just for some different products they've donated, time they've given, money they've given, all the things. And a lot of people have donated to the cause and want to remain anonymous, and that's awesome too. But
mostly that
for sure. And those of you out there listening, who that's you know who you are, and from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much for that. But a couple of people we do want to mention first: Buck, Brannaman, Gabe, and Riata Clark, and their whole team at the ProAm roping. It takes place in August in Ogden, Utah. We've been partnered with the ProAm for a couple years, and it's amazing. So why don't you go ahead, Jeremy, and just expound on that a little bit?
Well, yeah, a couple of years ago, like the first morning I was riding into the indoor, and Buck's like, "Hey, Rieta and I want to talk to you when this is all over." And I was like, "Oh, crap." And, I had Buck on the podcast a year or two before that. And anyway, so they grabbed me and they're like, "Hey, we really love what you guys are doing." And Buck was like, Rieta had this idea of us kind of sponsoring this event and really trying to get behind what you guys are doing, and which was amazing, and help raise some money and for our cause. And so they did that, and really they're the brain power behind it and make it all happen. But I also feel like Jeff Mundell, as far as the announcing goes, he really...
Oh yeah. I remember back as far as when the ProAm was still in Corning, and Jeffrey was announcing the podcast every time you and Greg came out to rope, and it wasn't...
that was when the podcast, when 2 people were listening to it.
Yeah,
too, so.
And long before the partnership with the ProAm. So, that partnership's kind of been in place for a while, and just the support, I should say.
Yeah, so that's been amazing. When you get validated by people that you respect and admire, Buck told me, he's like, I get asked to be a part of a lot of things, and I kind of, got to protect my brand and what I'm about. And so I don't do much, but he's like, what you guys are doing. And then, Sunday morning at the ProAm this year, he said a lot of nice things about us and what we're doing and how important it is, the message of,
for sure,
get your stuff figured out, and tired of losing friends in our community to suicide, and we've always talked about, Wild Courage isn't about raising awareness. There's plenty of fine organizations that are out there doing that. And we want to be part of the solution. Let's get into our stuff and get it figured out so that it's not a preemptive, hey, everybody knows about suicide. Yeah. Everybody knows about addiction. Everybody knows about heartache. Let's go to the source, so that's been pretty cool. And then I want to say too, after the ProAm this year, I get a message from Jeffrey Mundell, and he's like, "Hey, shoot me your address." And then 4 or 5 days later, I get this print, and I think it's that guy. That's the thing on your water bottle. And it's this, he's like, I just after spending the weekend with you guys and hearing some of the stories and interactions that you guys have had, I just had this vision of what Wild Courage is. And if you're listening, it's this cool cowboy, and he's holding a mask away from his face.
You're removing it.
Yeah, he's removing the mask. And on the mask, he's got like this big mustache and this big smile. And then behind the mask, there's a big tear rolling down his cheek. And everyone that's seen that is just like, it's so impactful because that is really kind of, I don't know a better description of wild courage than that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. So,
and we're going to be doing some stuff with that print too.
Yeah.
As far as
some
like
merch and probably before the ProAm.
Oh yeah. Before the
secret.
ProAm we'll have it. Yeah.
Cool. So, Jeffrey, thank you as well. Also, our other print that a lot of people have seen, Scott Hall.
Yeah. When I kind of was thinking, you know, like, well, first off, I just want to say, like, when the wild courage thing started getting some traction, like taking it to the cowboy community was kind of like the last thing I wanted to do, just because that's my peer group. That's our peer group, right? And it's like, as much as I like to be vulnerable, it's like, man, I don't know if this message is going to fly in that community that I grew up and been a part of my whole life, you know?
Yeah.
And it kind of organically, like I ran out of other people to interview because all I mostly know is a bunch of cowboys. And it just kind of, I don't know, there's a grace, I think, you know, on it in that community. So as that got rolling and looking at our logo, which is, you know, cool, but I was like, man, Scott Hall is such an incredible artist and, you know, silversmith and engraver. But so we had many long conversations about what wild courage is. And anyway, he came up with what's kind of one of our logos now, which is so badass.
Heck yeah. Also, Scott and Andrea Van Leuven, the Buckaroo Traditions Gathering in Winnemucca, another roping and somebody we're partnered with there.
Yeah. Well, I think Scott is such a pivotal person as far as a guest on the podcast because...
And in the cowboy world.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, if you think of Buckaroo, like, today's age, he's it.
Yeah.
Like, he's one of the staples of that community, and for him to be so vulnerable and tell his story the way he did on the podcast, it gave so many guys permission to look at their own stories and kind of their journey. And so it was just really cool. I think when they started their event, you know, there was a lot of conversations about, hey, we want you guys to come and represent and do your thing. And
well, that's part of what you just said about your own life and wanting to, like, that's my peer group. Really, that's what this whole thing is about, is there are broken and hurting people in every walk of life. That just happens to be our walk of life.
Yeah.
You know, but the people listening, the people coming to the retreats, the guys who are getting involved in local fires, all that thing, it's just about taking it back to your own life, back to your own community, your own people.
Yeah, and I think some people get confused about what this is, because from the fray, it's like we're pretty broad. Mm-hmm. And some people, you know, we all want to put something in a place, right? And it's like, oh, well, that's about addiction. I was like, no.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah.
It's not about addiction. It's not about cowboys.
I'm still confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like about humanity.
Yeah.
Like there was a guy at the retreat this week. He's like, I listen to every podcast. I love them. I fast forward through the cowboy stuff because he lives on the East Coast and doesn't know. It's like a foreign language when we're talking, but he's like, I just 2x speed through the cowboy parts, and then I slow down and listen to the humanity part of every man's story that I can connect with.
Yeah.
And I loved how he said that, because we're not just building this for cowboys, like, but because of guys like Scott and a lot of the guys that have been on the podcast, it's I think opening up some conversations in that community specifically that I don't think has happened a lot in the past. But by no means are we just, that's not our target audience.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, our target audience is the hopeless man.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't care if you live on the East Coast or in the middle of Nevada, like, this is for everyone. And I also say all the time, like, yeah, if you have addiction issues, there's AA. What about the guy that doesn't have a drinking problem? Where does he go?
Yeah.
Where does he go to do the work? You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of a cool byproduct of what this has turned into.
Yeah, for sure. Couple other people just that have done things for us, given products to raffle, all that type of stuff. First on that list would be Scott and Amy Grosskopf, Buckaroo Businesses.
Yeah,
In
dude.
Billings, Montana.
I texted Scott last year before the program. I'm like, hey, could we just think about the raffle, right? Like, could you sell us a bit for wholesale? So we could auction it off. He's like, yeah, we'll figure it out. No problem. So we get there, we're setting up the booth, and him and Amy walk up with a full, really nice silver bit with a really nice head stall, rein chains, and rawhide
Whole deal.
Ramal reins.
Yeah.
And he's like, here you go. And we're giving you this. And it was like, what? And they're like, and I've been friends with Scott for 25 years, and so it was just cool, like way above and beyond what we were asking for, but just the support of that community and Scott. And I literally got a text from Amy last week. She's like, plan on us doing the same thing this year at the ProAm, full setup. And I think we raised like $8,000 with that, with
That's
what
awesome.
Scott and Amy did for us. Like, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And
So
then
good.
it's cool because then other people start piling on. And then, Nick Merritt shows up and he's like, I got some stuff I want to donate for the raffle. And some other makers threw some stuff in. And it was crazy.
For sure.
It's
And
overwhelming.
then at the Buckaroo Traditions Gathering in November, Samson Moss with Prairie Wind Hat Works from Alberta.
Yeah.
Tell what he did.
Same thing. We're like, hey, can we buy a hat and auction it off, and hopefully get above so we don't go backwards. And he's like, dude, I'll split it with you. So that was super cool. Samson's been on the podcast and is a big supporter and a brother to this community and what we're doing. So
We should have threw him on that once.
I know.
Last time. Dang it. We'll go.
no, because
We'll go
we
back and
both were
edit.
talking about like, I need a black hat. I don't own a black hat. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, in that, who else? Oh crap! I was just thinking about it. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, that's all I really got on that list. And there's been lots of people. If we left somebody out,
I know
don't.
we left a million people out.
Yeah, for sure. Please don't be hurt. We're just thinking of the ones that are kind of in the works right now, just because we're thinking about the things we're thinking about.
Yeah, that's good.
So I mentioned last week I was on the way up here headed to the retreat. So we just got back Sunday night from the retreat, which was, I think we're still all processing. I'm getting texts from some of my guys back home that went, who are like, one guy this morning said he needed some jumper cables to get himself going this morning. I think the emotional
toll.
hangover, kind of is what it feels like in an amazing way. Like it was so good. But then you start to process it, plus him having to drive 10 hours, back and go straight to work. All that. So I think we're all still processing. We talked to a young guy yesterday, Brandon Calves, with him that was at the retreat as well. And it's just like everybody's still, it was an amazing retreat. Every one of them is. Everyone I've been to is so good. And this one felt incredibly special.
Yeah,
let's just recap a little bit on that real quick. And
I wish there was a different name for retreat because it sounds so
churchy and
churchy and like, I don't know, like I wish there was a better name to describe because I all I can say is they're not like any retreat that anybody's ever gone to in their life because of.
And every time I love that.
Oh, it's nuts.
That Thursday when we're starting to retreat, which this year we added a day.
Which
in
was
the past,
huge.
It's been.
We'll never go back to 2 days.
In the past, it's been Friday evening through Sunday morning. So Saturday's your only full day. In the past, it's been crammed full. And then sometimes it gets even more crammed full when Seth or somebody goes off on some rabbit trails. And it's always amazing, but it feels so almost overwhelming in a good way.
There's no real time to process any of it.
Yeah. So this year we added an extra day. So we started on Thursday night.
All day Friday.
Had all day Friday, Saturday, and then still Sunday till lunchtime or so before most guys headed out. But
and also just doing it in a new spot. The spot we normally do it have always done it, except for the one time in Jackson Hole, was booked this weekend. And so it turned out great because we ended up in McCall right on the lake.
Yeah.
At this cool, super old gnarly lodge.
With beautiful weather.
Perfect weather, yeah.
Yeah. Lay out and get a suntan.
Cold plunge.
And all the fun stuff.
Nick and I went up to check out the retreat spot 2 weeks ago, and there was still 4 feet of snow, and the lake was still covered in thick ice. And I was like, sweet, maybe we won't have to do that stupid cold plunge that we do every year.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was thought out, and we still had to do the stupid cold plunge.
Yeah, but it was good.
Yeah, it was so good.
And had great weather. Great hosts there, the guys that work, people that work there. And
yeah, it was amazing.
So let's recap that just a little bit.
Yeah,
as much as we can.
Yeah, obviously it's kind of sacred, holy ground. What happens there, really?
Yeah.
Even within our groups, we don't talk about what the stories are. I love how Seth said it the first night. He's like, because what we hear all the time is like, I really thought I was going to take this part of my story to my grave.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how important it is to keep what happens in your group like it stays there.
Yeah.
And Seth said, that thing that you think you're going to take to your grave, don't take it to your grave. Share it with these 3 brothers in your group so that they can take it to theirs.
Yeah.
And to me, that just was like so impactful. And it was also permission giving because that happened a lot.
A lot. Yeah, for sure.
I like the theme of like, I literally was going to take this to my grave, this part of my story, or this thing that happened to me, or something that I did. And the other theme of that on the backside of that is, I can't believe how light I feel for shedding that and not carrying around those boulders in my backpack anymore. So I think, speaking of some generalities, like it was just cool. Some father, son, brother dynamics that were there. It was very powerful, a lot of healing. And it's weird to talk about retreats because until you experience one, it's like, I know you're going to sit around a fire and hold hands and sing songs. It's so the opposite of that. Yeah. It's messy, but it's powerful. And the cool thing, to your point of having an extra day to it, that I think was my biggest takeaway from this retreat, from the other 7 that we've had or whatever, is the brotherhood that was formalized.
Yeah.
Because there was more time for connection.
Yep.
So you saw guys from all walks of life. There was a pile of Cowboys there, which was super cool. Mm-hmm. But you saw them connecting with guys from other parts of the country and exchanging phone numbers, which we always encourage. And letting, and like we've talked about on here before, like one of the things at the retreat, the first thing is like, you're forbidden to talk about what you do for a living. Yeah. So everybody's kind of like the same.
We're all troubadours.
All troubadours. We're all storytellers. And so I don't know, that was one of my biggest takeaways. It was the depth of the brotherhoods, that friendships that were formed there that are going to go on. Yeah.
Well, by creating that extra space with nothing in the space, just for guys to connect. Some years in the past, I've only really got to know the guys in my group. But even this time, like you saw guys who weren't in the same groups, and myself included, just sitting at the table with other men.
Yeah, because we had hours and hours to do that.
Yeah. And after dinner, it was great. So definitely felt like you said, this one was like, wow, guys really connected, in which it was good.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, and it was really good. Some of the Cowboys connected, even though they weren't, Cowboys, but it's hard to not walk in the room and recognize another Cowboy across the room.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. So and one of the guys even mentioned some stuff up there just as to that thing of Cowboys. There's plenty of Cowboys who are working in other roles and they're doing other occupations in life, but they're Cowboys nonetheless.
Yeah, you can tell a dog.
Yep, for sure. So,
yeah, it was pretty powerful and impactful. And I think that it just blows me away. First off, that anybody shows up.
Yeah.
Because you can't, but most guys I had no idea what to expect. And I'm like, that's because we have no idea to tell you what to expect because we don't program this whole thing out. Like,
well,
okay,
on
from
Thursday,
1 to 2, it's this. And
yeah, on Thursday night when somebody asked what we were doing, and we said we just came up with a skeleton plan last night. Like this is literally Wednesday night, Thursday morning together as a team, kind of decide where we're going.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was good. And to your point of that, like when guys come, the brother you mentioned from the East Coast that came, I'm like, what boldness. I don't know that I would do that, to know nobody. All you know is a podcast you've listened to, and to sign up to come halfway across the country to a bunch of dudes you don't know.
There was probably 6 guys that came by themselves from other parts. Like, can you imagine?
Yeah.
I told every one of them, like, I don't have the balls to do that. I would do it with you or somebody. I'd be like, hey, let's go to this thing and check it out.
Yeah.
Especially because, again, they know about it from the podcast. So they're fast forwarding through the Cowboy stuff, and there's still something pulling on them from the humanity that we all share.
Yeah.
Like, they're still showing up. And like, there's probably going to be a bunch of Cowboy guys there I know nothing about. And it was that was one of my biggest takeaways too, is these guys that came by themselves.
Yeah.
And not knowing what they're getting into. I don't think I would do it.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So to all you guys that was you, good on you.
Hats off, dude.
Yeah. It was awesome. Couple other little things to recap, and then I want to get into some personal things with you and ask you some questions.
When you brought this up, I was like, this is a bunch of crap, because I've talked so much crap about you on this podcast and made so much fun of you through other people. I'm like, I think this might be a revenge tour thing or something.
Well, I won't say that I haven't thought of some things, but no, the real honest truth with that is just there's a lot of things that people don't know about Jeremy Morris that they should know. Like a lot of people listening.
I don't know if that's
one thing.
true.
Well, here's one thing. Most people probably don't know that you still carry a comb in your back pocket. You just can't part with it.
So,
see what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. I've been holding that one for a little while.
That's a good one.
Waiting for this very moment. No, some other things though. We mentioned the Buckaroo Traditions Gathering. We mentioned the ProAm. One thing we didn't mention, but you certainly mentioned it recently when getting home from there, is the Outside Circle show at the Cowboy Gathering in Elko.
Yeah, huge. That's been a huge part of what we do with Justin and Nicole, and getting to be in Elko and doing the panel and the podcast this year. And
we recorded
awesome.
3 or 4?
3 podcasts in one day.
Yeah.
I won't do that again. That's too much.
Yeah, but it was awesome.
Yeah, so fun.
Yeah, all of the guests that were there and so gracious to do it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
A couple other little things, the retreats, the gatherings, and then the kind of heartbeat of what Wild Courage is, the local fires.
Yeah. So if you look at this is kind of like a 3 or 4-legged stool. Wild Courage is like, obviously the podcast is kind of the top of the funnel, right? Like that's the thing you can broadcast and share stories of hope and redemption, which is the whole point of all of it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why I do it. And then there's obviously the retreats, which are twice a year, spring and fall, and kind of a mountaintop experience, situation. But the heartbeat of all of this, and this is where it all started, it's the fire that started in my barn right next to where we are right now. And really the kind of the longevity of however many years we've been doing that. That's not just the heartbeat of what we do, but that's where we see the real transformation of having the brotherhood, of really walking through life twice a month, meeting up. And then also these guys are connecting outside of the fire, which is super impactful for them. But just having the brotherhood and seeing guys, I'm a better husband and father and friend because of the fires, because of listening to other men's stories, right?
Yep.
Because there's guys older than me, there's guys younger than me that have different life experiences. And the cool thing about no preaching, no teaching, no advice, you just get good at listening.
Yeah.
Which is some of us aren't that great at, right? Because we're always waiting for somebody to stop what they're saying so we can interject our thoughts. Mm-hmm. I do that, and I hate it when people do it to me. And basically at the fire, we've created a space where you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
And we'll shut you down if you do.
Yeah.
And so something powerful happens in that exchange of just like someone being heard, but also like, oh, you get these little nuggets out of it. And it's like, oh, I do that to my son, or, oh, my heart's bent towards my wife that way.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can stop. I get recalibrated in my soul and my heart, my mind. And I'm like, I need to stop doing that. I was so subconsciously doing that thing. That guy put words to something I didn't even know I was doing.
Yeah.
And I get it calibrated. And so that's just a little snippet of what happens. And, you know, the fire is also the craziest thing, because it's not like we talk about it on the podcast all the time. And there's a hunger for it. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of something that's taken off. And we've created some things like on the website, like, hey, I'm interested in starting a fire, click here.
Yeah.
And then we have a whole process of like kind of equipping guys and all the things that we've learned and how to hold space for story, because it gets messy and it can get off the tracks a little bit. But we've kind of learned some things on how to keep it together and hold that space and not try to be anybody's savior, because we're not here to fix anybody, because we can't.
Yeah.
So we've learned a lot with that. And Doc and I don't know how long, 6 months ago, sat down and recorded a bunch of videos on kind of what we've learned in the fire space. And once you go through the process of becoming fire host, like, you have access to all these informations. And we have a little book on kind of how to get it going and all of that. But
yeah, which is a good point, because there's certainly a man out there listening right now who's saying, man, I would love that, but I'm not qualified. There's no fire in my area and I'm not qualified to start it. You're qualified. If you're a man, if you have a story, which we all do, so you can't get out of that one. And that doesn't mean a story of, just to be clear for guys listening, that doesn't mean you've went through addiction or whatever the wild, big trauma things that we could think of. Not everybody has that story. Some stories are very good. Still, life's hard. Even if you have a great story, you've been through things. We need your voice. We need your story. The world, the guys around you need your story. So sure, there's some steps to take, and we're willing to help with that. Like you said, the little manual, the website, Jason.
Jason Lloyd's a board member of ours that's taken over the whole fire thing. And he's been a part of Wild Courage he was at the first retreat.
He was in my group at the very first retreat.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
And he's life-giving to me, because he's so on it, but he takes care of all of that. And he's been on the journey for over 10 years himself. So he's awesome. But there's those steps there, not to interrupt you, but I'm going to interrupt you. There's those steps there to take. So if you're listening and you're curious, go to the website. I think the last I looked on the website, on the map, because on the map there's little fire flames all over where there is a fire. I think there's 23. That might not be accurate, but there's at least that. There's probably some. I think we have some more that need to be added.
I think you're right. But there's at least 23 flames I saw on the map right now, which includes 2 in Canada and then all across our country. And if there's not one, click the how do I start a fire thing, get on there, go through the thing. And all it means is you're hosting. You don't have to have everything together. It's just giving you a space. I can tell you, because
you have a fire.
Yeah, I have a fire. And shout out to all the guys in Reading. But even at our fire, I'm getting as much as every other man that's coming. And we're all like, I'm drawing strength from Ross and his story, or, whoever it might be, just hearing those stories and the connection and the brotherhood that it's created. And when you're going through a tough spot, like I think we kind of have a little text, and a lot of the guys have already texted this morning in it. And it's just like a daily thing even, which isn't everyone, and every fire looks a little bit different. So it's a great place. Just start there and see if there's a fire in your area. If not, and you feel like you really want this, click the button, send the email. Jason will get back to you. We have a call once a month for fire hosts that we all jump on. It's not Zoom. It's Teams on Teams, and it's awesome. Like to see a guy on the screen from Canada and a guy on the screen from Tennessee and it's like all over, but we're all in the same thing.
Yeah, I just want to share one quick story about this, and I know he won't care, but my lifelong friend, one of my oldest friends, Willem Mallarney, come to some retreats and just longing for brotherhood, lives outside of Colorado Springs and just, I think goes to a smaller church and there's not a lot of kind of like-minded guys. Maybe I don't know about that for sure, but I'm like, Willem, you should always encouraging him to like, and he's been down there for years and years and years. And anyway, he's like, I'm going to start a fire. He didn't have a community. He created one. His fire is a bunch of ass kickers. And the one thing I love about this is like, because I don't know all the fire hosts personally. I've been on a couple of those calls, but I'm not on the fire calls.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is I'm hearing stories out of Willem's fire, not from Willem.
Yeah.
Like in the most bizarre ways, what God's like doing in the hearts of men at a fire in Colorado by one of my oldest best friends.
Yeah.
And the humility. Willem doesn't call me and be like, you'll never guess what happened at my, like crazy things I'm hearing from people twice removed from Willem about this guy I went to college with is like, calls me up and he's like, man, I've been going to this fire in Colorado and just, gnarly stories. It's crazy. So if you don't have a community, I don't know, build one. There's men are hungry for this is, I guess, what we're getting down to.
Yeah.
And if there isn't one, you are qualified.
Yeah.
If there's something in you that hungers for authentic, real, no bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not. It is. You're enough. You're qualified.
And they all look different. They all look different.
Yeah. And they don't have to look like ours. They don't have to look like yours. They don't have to look like Willem's. They don't have to look like anybody's.
Yep.
The point is like, we're all getting our ass kicked by something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes just having a group of guys that you trust.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah. And also the victories. Like there's something about hope that gets shared too.
Yeah.
And I think I have said this on here, but the one thing that I'm super proud, besides that nobody talks about what happens at the fire,
yeah,
because that would ruin it in 1 second if these stories ever got out, but is that we're really good of like, you get to show up where you're at.
Yeah.
Like the Bible says, rejoice with those who are rejoicing, mourn with those who are mourning. And when like you get a promotion or something great, you find out you're going to have a baby, something big and exciting is happening, and the guy you're with, somebody's going through a divorce or somebody's really getting their ass kicked. It's like you don't want to be Debbie Downer or whatever, and be like, well, I'm sorry you're going through that, but I am having all these crazy good things happening, right? And at the fire, we emphasize you get to show up where you're at. So it doesn't matter what the guy to the left or right of you is going through, you get to be that. And if it's good, it brings a lot of hope to the deal too. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. We just think in real time, I'm thinking of somebody who literally just lost a baby and somebody who sat straight across the fire from him, whose wife is pregnant with their first child. And having that,
a lot of tension.
Yeah, but being able to hold that tension of rejoicing and yet mourning at the same time, and both are okay, and nobody's trying to fix each other, and nobody's trying to, give some stupid cliche that, time will heal it or any of those things. It's literally just sitting with that brother in his mourning and helping him grieve and get through that, while at the same time we're sitting with the other gentleman who's excited and that. So yeah, it is. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's what life's supposed to be.
I also want to say that like, you're like, well, you kind of mentioned God in the Bible and this and that, like no preaching, no teaching, no advice. Like there's no scriptures being shared. Nobody gets to throw a scripture at you when you're in the middle of your pain.
Yeah.
There's cigars smoked, pipes smoked, craft beers had. We just invite God into the mess and that's about it. Like it's not some weird religious thing. Like,
and there's plenty of
you get to show up where you're at. We have agnostic guys come, we have Christian guys come, we have Mormon guys come. Like it's really not I don't know. I just want to make sure that we paint a picture that like you get to show up however you are.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's the fires. Check it out.
Yep. Cool. Look on thewildcourage.org or thewildcourage.life.
It's org now.
Yeah, it's org now. I think both will take you there though. But and find a fire near you, or if you really got that burning in you that you want to start one, do that. So on to Jeremy Morris.
Well, I think we're
Our
out of
guest.
time.
Yeah, our guest today. Oh, we got time. I meant to text Mary last night and ask her, what would you like me to point out
So
today?
glad you did,
Or
because she would throw me under the bus more than you would.
Oh, I know. I gave Leighton the opportunity too. Now's the time to get back at Dad. What do we want to do? But no, I mentioned earlier, we've heard your story. I mean, it's kind of where we all started with this. But hearing your story, hearing you and Mary's story of the brokenness, the lies, all the things you've shared, all that, and then the beautiful redemption and God being in that whole process. And not everybody's story looks like that, but everybody can relate on some level to the hurt as well as the redemption and all those things. Now on this side of it, what does it look like? Now you guys are healthy. Every time I'm here, I love seeing your family. Your boys are hilarious. I got here last week, step out of the truck. Grady's out shooting hoops on the basketball. And the very first thing, as soon as I step out of the truck, he didn't even give me 3 steps. And he says, "Sup, old man?" And I mean, it's like coming up here and hanging out with my own boys.
Yeah.
But it's fun. But seeing your family now on this end, and I knew you guys through the whole process.
Yeah, you were there at the rough spots for sure.
Yeah. And what does it look like now for you? And I know you've hinted to some of these little things, but what does it look like now for you to pursue your wife's heart and to pursue just that whole thing? I don't imagine that it's all rainbows and things on this side. Life still keeps happening.
She's still got her struggles.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, some of us are perfect like right away, and then our wives have to keep working.
Takes
on it.
time.
Yeah. So what does that, just maybe speak into that? What does that look like on okay, I'm through it? Because I know there's guys out there probably who maybe they haven't went through something, or maybe they have and now they're on the other side of it. But whether we have or not, I've been married 25 years and it's still a constant, like people always, you hear this term like, oh, we just grew apart. Well, how do we actively not do that? How are you pursuing, personally your own wife's heart, and then maybe just generally speaking to that thing as well?
Here's a lame analogy. It's like if you get a new truck, it still needs maintenance.
Yeah.
If you get an engine rebuilt.
Especially if you get a Ram.
Yeah, especially if you get a Ram.
Yeah.
But like, that's kind of what just popped in my head. Like, if you have an older truck that's got 12 years and miles / marriage on it, and you go through what Mary and I went through, like complete frame off restoration.
Yeah.
Like every nut and bolt had to come off. The cab got lifted off you know what I mean? The drivetrain got disassembled. The engine had to be reworked.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to put all that back together so it was strong again and healthy. But there's still maintenance. You still got to do all the things.
Yeah.
You still need to get the oil change. You still got to get the front. Because we have a 4-wheel drive marriage. I don't know about you, but you know what I mean? Like you still got to. I got this old 93 Dodge that's been kind of redone, first gen. And when I get the oil change, you still got to check the rear differential in the front. And
on those Dodges or Rams, yeah, I mean, you put a new front end in it every 2 years.
Yeah.
They fall out from under them all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why we're sponsored by Ford.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, that's kind of like I said, a dumb analogy, but
no, it's a great one.
When you propose that question, I'm like, well, it's maintenance. The difference is before all that was falling apart, that truck, I didn't have any tools.
Yeah.
I had no tools. I couldn't even go to my neighbor and borrow them because I didn't even know what they were called. And now through the 10-year journey that we've been on, 12 years since we moved to Idaho, we don't have all the tools, but we have a lot of tools. And now I will say it like this. We still have arguments. We still have fights. We both still get it wrong. What would derail us for 30, 45, 60 days where we were just disconnected. Like we're parents, we're co-parenting, we have responsibilities to do, but we are shut down 1,000% to each other. There's no connection.
Yeah.
Like our conversations are short and they're informational. Who's going to practice? Who's driving this? Who's doing that? And now that we've went and got a lot of help and done a lot of the work, we have the tools. Like it literally doesn't last a day. We're not broke down one day. We're not on the side of the road for one day. We immediately will separate, and it's a phone call within a half an hour. Somebody is like, I was wrong. I wasn't listening to you, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I hear what you're saying, and I needed to step back in a way and look at it through your lens. And I think that's so much of us. We have all of our hurts and stuff, and there's still stuff, right? But there's something powerful about trying to look at a scenario, to step back from it and how the whole thing went down and look at it through somebody else's lens and be like, oh, I could totally see how the way I said that would hurt her.
Yeah.
That wasn't my intention. That's the way it came across because I was a level 8 and it was a level 2 scenario. And my emotions showed up big because I was hungry, because I was tired, because I had a rough day with this or that. And then we take it out on the ones closest to us, just like with our kids. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, do we have the humility to go clean up messes? And that's what, to answer your question, that's what Mary and I have gotten really, really good at, is fighting our way back to each other, which is connection.
Yeah.
To like, hey, I know that you have a lot going on, but the way that you talked to me, that was really crappy.
Yeah.
And it hurt the way that you said that, or the way that you didn't say something, So a lot of that is trust. Like, I know you're for me. I know she's for me.
Yep.
I know that she's my biggest supporter, and nobody loves me the way that she does. And I think in our own hurt, sometimes we forget about that.
Yep. Yeah.
And so we build up defensive measures around ourselves to self-protect and not to let that person that's close to us hurt us. So I think that's one of the things that we've gotten really, really good at, is repair quickly.
Yeah. I had that conversation with one of the men in my group at the retreat this weekend, along those lines of who the person we always hurt the most is the ones closest to us. And I feel like there's this level of trust and vulnerability, and just like that person, in my case, Rachel, knows me more than anybody else. I've allowed her into this level of intimacy that nobody else has. And that can be scary and it can be hard, but it's also, I don't really know how to say it, but there's such a way of like, even though it hurt because I trust you so much. I've allowed you into a space where I don't really allow anybody else, and I allow you to see me without the mask on, if we could put it that way. And sometimes that's ugly and it hurts. I can walk outside and be perfect and amazing, and people say, you're so safe, and then go home and my wife say, you're so unsafe,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a specific scenario, but that concept of I've allowed you in the most. Yeah. And it can be messy.
Oh,
but that connection
and it's with
is
our kids too,
thing.
right? Like my 17-year-old son was at the retreat.
Yeah.
Helping my cousin Barry do all the cooking. So he was a sous chef, dishwasher,
Yeah.
potato chopper.
Yep.
And I was nervous about it, and I can't even really articulate why, other than we can't lie to our kids.
Yeah.
We can't lie to, well, let me rephrase that. We can't lie to other people in front of our kids.
Yeah.
Somebody at the retreat talked about us being like avatars and what avatars show up. And I thought that was a great analogy because, to your point earlier, like, yeah, I can put it together in front of other people, but when it comes to your family and the people closest to you,
Yeah.
they're like, that's BS.
Yeah. Even listening right now, they can listen and say, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
As if it actually is 30 minutes between calls. And yeah.
But that's why at the retreat, I felt it was necessary publicly to not only affirm my son,
Yeah.
but I had some messes I needed to clean up with him. And that was hard, dude, to ask his forgiveness, because I'm very critical of him. I'm not proud of it. The things I think sometimes that I don't like about myself that I see in him creates this like really critical space, because he's the most like me of anyone on the planet. He's way more like me than my other sons or my daughter in a lot of ways. And so it's not even always what I say, but with my eyes, I know I hurt him. Mm-hmm. And I'm really critical of him. And so I felt that it was important to like, again, it was sucked for me and it was scary, but it was like I was at a crossroads. Like I can choose shame with this and just continue to feel bad about how I talk to him sometimes and the way I show up to him explosively. Mm-hmm. And I can stay in that shame because I feel shame around how critical I am of him.
Yeah.
And then I see him being critical of his little brothers and it makes me angry at him. And I'm like, where did he learn that? And the day that hit me, dude, I was like shame spiraling out of control. I was like, he learned that from me because that's how I treat him. And then he's so critical of his, the next brother. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I taught him how to do that. I showed him. He wasn't born that way. I showed him that type of behavior and how to treat someone. And so this weekend I was like, I can stay in shame or I can clean up that mess in a way that costs me something. Because I've kind of done it before in private, but the weight of it was just different, you know? Like, I'm going to do this in front of
my peers,
my
men.
peers and the leaders and the men at the retreat, and it sucked and it was scary, but I was like, no, I'm not going to choose shame. Yeah. I'm going to choose redemption and let him into hopefully a track of forgiveness for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't easy, but it was necessary.
Yeah.
And so to your question, a lot of it is, I'm looking at this quote behind you that's on my whiteboard that Rick Canfield said a few years ago, and we wrote it down, but it says, go in love, humility, pre-forgiveness, and recognize you could be wrong.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite quotes because kind of being loaded with that all the time, trying to be, is like, I could be wrong.
Yeah. None of us are right 100% of the time.
Yeah. And especially when it comes to our families, like we all have different life experiences, so we all show up to everything differently.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be my way that you experience this life.
Yeah.
Or me.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's good. So, question with everything you just said, after talking about your wife, how to protect that connection, and really that is it, connection. So with our boys, are you saying the same thing? Because I hear a lot of parents all the time say things like a kid asks for something and the parent says no. And actually, instead of saying the parent, let me just say me. So I'll get home from work. My boys are older now, but when they were young especially. And you get home, you got a lot going on. My mind is full of something. And one of my boys will say, Dad, can we do this? Or can I have this? And I say, no. Why not? Because I said. And I'm not saying that's never, sometimes can be good enough for the moment, but then they leave with that, no explanation really. And that feels like a divide. That doesn't feel like connection.
It's opposite, yeah.
Yeah, and we can't always, I get it, it's not, you can't always sit down in the moment and say, here's why, and let's have a heart-to-heart connection. But at some point, I always say this a lot, like, when we're going to battle, I need you to be a soldier. But we need, because in the world, it's kind of both ways. Like it's either like, I'm going to shut up everything and never let my walls down and never get out my emotions, and we're never going to talk about things until I just explode and they all come out in 30 seconds for 10 years of holding it all in. Or we have a generation or a move of people in the world who are just like, all we do is live in our emotions, and we can never just put that away for a minute. Let's go to battle or whatever it might be, because not every moment is the moment before that.
But circle back.
Yeah, but always come back to that. So when my son says, how come? For right now, I need no to be good enough. But how? But then we need to protect that connection, because it's funny the things that we and I think this was even mentioned up at the retreat, like just how two siblings can experience a family vacation in two totally different ways. And sometimes it's just because of one statement dad made in the car on the way there. And I'm so aware of it all the time. One of my boys, Chase, works with me every day right now, and Caleb has in the past, and he goes with us still some. But like I'm with Chase all the time, and it's in a work environment, so it's not always when I'm at my best. Not every horse is amazing, and sometimes it's just it can be an environment for hostility once in a while, or whatever the case. And we work together good, and it's super fun. But sometimes I just say, I want you to do it like this. And right now that just needs to be good enough. When we get in the truck, we'll talk about it, or whatever the case might be. So how do we, well, I guess maybe even in asking that question is kind of the answer, that we have to make sure, like you said, that we keep that connection, that when we do, because we're all going to make messes, none of us are going to get it right, especially when we see, I think as dads, when we see ourselves, especially if we're carrying any kind of shame, like you said, or any kind of, I don't like this about me, and I see it in you, and they haven't even done anything. They don't even know what, why are you, and my boys are great at calling me out on it. Chase will just be like, wow, you didn't have to come like that, and just, it's like, oh, yeah, okay, sorry, you're right. That was uncalled for.
Yeah, I think for me, in the last year or so, especially with the different ages of my boys, is intentionality. Yeah.
And your boys are you have, Bronson is so into sports. Grady, even last night, we went to Bronson's baseball practice, and Grady brings a book to sit and read.
He doesn't want anything to do with sports. And Leighton's, he's into sports, but it's more for his friends, and which I get. And he's more into his guitar and playing music. And then my daughter, also being intentional with her, she's 27 and amazing and lives close, which is so redemptive in our journey and story. And then Leighton just turned 17. Grady Boy's about to be 11. And Bronson just turned 9. So kind of got them all spread out. But last year, I just felt like, we do group camping and family trips and stuff like that. And I was like, I didn't ever get any of that. It was like, you just went with dad, and that was ranching. I was cowboying. Like that was it. There was never retreat or fun or anything like that, really. And I get it. I'm not dumping on my dad, but also just being curious about what they're into. Yeah. And that intentionality. So last year, I did a trip with all 4 of them, just for them. And I think that kind of connection, like we'll all have for the rest of our lives. Like Grady, he kind of is the only one that's really showed much interest in horses and stuff. So I got to take him to the OW for a week and go branding and sleep in the teepee and stay up late talking.
And when you say trips with all 4 of them
separately, like intentionally about what are they into? Yeah. Because so much of it is consumed with what we have going on here and with our little place and cows, and they have to be a part of all that. They don't get a choice, right? Yeah. Which is part of this family unit. Like there's things that everybody's responsible to do to make it all work, and irrigating and all the things, and grass and mowing and all that. But just again, the intentionality of like, okay, Grady and I are going to go on this epic road trip for a week and sleep in the teepee in our bedrolls and go, gather and brand. And it was amazing. And then Bronson, you mentioned, is a sports guy and a big Steelers fan because he knows what's up. So we went to a Steelers game. Yeah. And I mean, it just blew his mind getting to walk into that stadium with him, like as an 8-year-old, like that was pretty epic. And then taking Leighton to a concert, and because of my friend. Yeah.
And Leighton has amazing taste in music.
Yeah. So shout out to my friend, Chris Trainer, who's the guitar player for Bush. Like we got to go backstage and have dinner with the band, and he got to bring a friend. So just getting to experience watching my sons do the things that they're into. Yeah. And like some of the perks of my life that get to flow into what they're into is just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So just, I think, intentionality of like connection. Like, I'm going to go do the thing you're into,
Totally.
and you
Yeah.
not just getting,
I think that's the biggest thing
yeah.
out of that whole thing. If somebody hears that, don't just force them to come into your life, but intentionally get into their life.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you have to,
Play video games 6 hours a night or something.
yeah, or be like fully change your life to fit that, but at least show interest and intention into what they're into.
Yeah, because we've seen that go the other way in unhealthy ways,
Yeah.
where parents' identity is all in their kids and what they do. And what that creates is so much codependency. And I've seen it, and I think everyone has, and turns into performance-based relationships.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
And I think it's subconscious, but it's like, if you get good grades, I'll love you. If you hit a home run, I'll love you. If you win that high school roping,
Yep.
I'm going to show up and be proud of you. And that's something that I feel super convicted by, of like unconditional love, of like, I'm going to be really intentional about my kids knowing that I love them, even when they're not crushing it. You know what I mean? Because how many men do we sit with around the fires, retreats, that their whole life is so performative?
Yeah.
Like, my dad only showed up for me.
Well, I'm even thinking of right now, and before I even share this, like, there are dads listening who do not walk away from this with any shame.
No
That's
shame.
never our purpose. What we're doing is hoping to just that you catch something and provide some tools and for moving forward, but no shame. And dads, a lot of dads are the sole provider for their families, and sometimes you have to work. And so you may miss a baseball game here and there. You may miss,
And that's okay.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Full permission.
And they understand, especially if you're open about it. And they know you're working. But I'm thinking of even a story from the retreat. Dad didn't show up until we made the playoffs. Didn't care the whole time. So when you're talking about the performance, or when you do so good, then I'll be proud of you. Like, I'm not saying you have to make every game, but at least show interest and at least say, like, son, I love you, I'm in, or daughter, whatever it is, and have that connection and have that relationship, not just when you achieve this, I'll be proud of you.
It doesn't even have to be a big thing. You don't have to go to a football game. It's like some of the most impactful times I know is like when I am busy and I come out of the office and I got a million things to do and I'm overwhelmed, and I see Bronson out there playing catch by himself, throwing the ball to himself. And I'm like, I'm not that important. Nothing I'm doing is more important than me going and playing catch for an hour with my son.
Yep.
And I can convince myself that I'm that important and that I got to do all these things. And the truth is, it can all wait.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the things that connect us, I think, to our wives. Like, everybody's busy. I'm no busier than probably a lot of people, but I am very busy with all the things. And I'll feel disconnected from my wife because of business. She teaches school and she's got a household to run and kids and sports and all the things she's up to. And it's like, oh no, I'm going to choose connection and be intentional. Can we go to Costco together?
Yeah.
We don't have practice tonight. Layton can watch the littles, and let's go to Chick-fil-A and go to Costco. And that's the only time sometimes in a month that we can connect.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do whatever I can to spend 2 or 3 hours with you because life's so crazy. And I see that happening so much with busyness and sports and all the things. It's like, well, no wonder we feel disconnected and got to drink and do porn and all the things. It's like what our soul is longing for is human connection.
Yeah.
And when that's painful, I get retreating from it. But again, this is just like invitation into like doing something different.
Yeah. Dude, there is nothing that says date night like free samples. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Seriously.
Yeah. That's connection. That's,
And sometimes that's all you have time for.
Yeah. And budget friendly. Yeah, for sure. If you get there, I think normally the shift changes like right around 4:00. You could hit every little free sample twice if you plan.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then you don't feel awkward. Like, oh, you're back again.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you just hit
Life
on
hack.
one of my next kind of questions I wanted to go to was just that balance. And I think probably not a lot more needs said there, but if you want to expound on that too, like kind of the question I was going to ask was, how do you balance business, running Wild Courage as well? I know you have a board and team helping, but and then the family and practices and coaching football and all the things. But I think you just hit that pretty good.
Well,
Maybe the short answer is
intentionality and healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Like I walk with quite a few guys in the journey, not everyone obviously. And by walking with, I mean, I'm just walking with them because I know I can't fix them. I got over that pretty early in the journey because I thought subconsciously that I needed to be someone's savior. I can't, and I'm not, and it's not my job. But just creating boundaries. And anybody that's listening to this that I've ever walked with, first thing I tell them, I'm not going to answer your phone call every time you call me. Yeah. Text me and give me 72 hours. And I'll get back to you when I can. And I don't answer my phone on weekends, and I don't answer my phone at night.
Yeah.
So creating that healthy boundary, which felt super scary to me because I was like, everyone's going to think I'm a jerk and I'm arrogant and I'm too good for, it's not that, but I'll tell you the story real quick. Early on in this journey, I was walking, especially with guys with sobriety. I'd be in the middle of dinner or a family thing, and my phone would ring, and I'd be like, oh, it's so-and-so. I would leave and go outside or come into my office, and I'd be gone for 2 hours. And after months and months and months of this, my wife's like, I'm glad you're out saving the world, but what about us?
Yeah.
And I felt so convicted by that it's like, and I say this all the time, but like, if I and we, like the leadership group and the core members of Wild Courage, like if we're not walking out family well, this is all bullshit.
Yeah.
Burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Like I don't want my kids to grow up feeling like a preacher's kid, that he's off saving everybody else and he's not taking care of his family. Like this is a facade. It's not real. And so to balance all that out, I've had to protect my family from all the goodness that is Wild Courage, right? And so that's one of the ways of just setting some healthy boundaries. And it's like, dude, I love you. I really care about you in your scenario, but I have to protect my family from all of this. Yeah. And then for me, when I'm with someone, I'm just really intentional because like everyone, we only have so much time to be with, in a day. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with like, when it's time to go do Cowboy stuff, I get to go do that. When it's time for region stuff, I want to be intentional with that. And a lot of it too is just the people that God surrounded me with. Like the team that Doc and I have at the region is so incredible. And it's been amazing to get to work on the business and not in the business as much. And I just love the guys we have there, and the same with Wild Courage. And then, just running some cows and getting to go to brandings this time of year and like know that everything's kind of taken care of. And also, just intentional with what I got to do that day. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yep. Awesome. I love that. And boundaries.
Healthy boundaries.
And boundaries, I always think of it like this. It's not as much about what you say no to. It's more about what you're saying yes to. Yeah. And saying yes to something is going to require having some boundaries like that. It's going to require you to say no to some things because I'm saying yes to this. In this moment, I'm saying yes to my family. I'm not going to answer your call.
And the honest part of that is some of the guilt I feel around, especially Wild Courage, is I feel like I'm always letting a lot of people down because I'm not complaining. It's overwhelming that this message of hope is resonating with so many people, but I literally can't get back to everyone. And I'm not big dogging anyone. Please hear my heart in this. Like I get so many messages and I just feel so overwhelmed. And then I feel bad because I'm just like, I don't know I'm just being honest real time. Like I don't even know what to do with all that. You know what I mean? It's like, I love so much that it's working, but it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So if I haven't gotten back to you on social media, I'm sorry. It's not my heart.
Yeah.
And then it gets tricky because we have a social media team, and then they'll read stuff and it'll show red, but I haven't sat down and spent all the time to read through all of it.
Yeah. And
so I feel like people feel like, well, he saw my message and he didn't respond. And so it's just kind of a weird thing that I feel heavy about sometimes, because my heart is to have the time and space and capacity to message everyone back and reply to every email. And I don't know, somehow my phone number got out, and that's just been a whole nother freaking thing. I don't know where. Well, early on it was on the website.
Yeah.
I was so naive. I'm like, well, if anybody needs help, they can just call me, and that quickly went away. But anyway, I don't know. I just want to say, like, my heart is for everyone and everybody's situation. And I don't know. I just feel bad that I can't always get back to everyone.
Yeah.
And I don't even see everything,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's healthy. That's good. How do you manage your heart when you get out-roped by friends at brandings?
It's really devastating to me, and it just makes me feel insecure, like a poser, like I should probably just burn it all and give away my horses and stuff. But then I just have this don't give up mentality.
Yeah. One day
I won't.
You'll be on top.
I don't know, dude. We went to a branding yesterday. We get back from retreat Sunday night, get up yesterday and go to Oregon to a branding with our buddy Will Hudson. And, when you get older, you get different roles and responsibilities at a branding. And especially we were talking like we love weekday brandings because it's usually pretty legit crews that get put together,
Yeah.
And you swap out. You rope 50 or 100 and then you swap out, and you do that a couple times. And for some reason, Will's like, hey, can you give shots? I'm like, well, sure. I've given shots when I was 12. It's been a minute. Because usually if I'm on the ground, because I'm such a big, strapping, strong, athletic human, I get
something like that.
I get a tail calves down, and set ropes. I gave myself 2 shots yesterday with the needles, so I'm vaccinated for I don't know what.
In the hand of all things, too.
One in my finger and one in my palm. And Will texted me this morning. He's like, how's your hand? I'm like, which one? I gave myself a shot in both hands. My hands are so sore, I couldn't rope today if I wanted to.
So that might even, we don't need to go there, but that brings up a whole nother thing. You're on the top end of it where now they're recognizing maybe your inability to flank calves, and now you're giving
I'm aging
shots.
out of flanking calves.
Yeah.
You start out there.
Wow.
And then you're the mugger. And then, I think I show up and they're like, oh, that crippled booger.
Yeah.
I guess he's back to shot guy. I never thought of that. I also would like to point out that,
I'm glad I could be the one to bring that up.
Yeah, I'm also glad to bring up that somebody lost their hat, like right off the bat in the Brandon pin yesterday.
Poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy. You. I gave myself shots, but not everybody saw that. Everybody saw you lose your hat. So,
yeah. Thanks, Jose, for saving me. Cool. So going forward from here, looking forward, with Wild Courage, there's some things that are out there anyways. You've been mentioning like there's a lot in the work. We don't need to go there right now. That's probably for a future thing. Other than we know like these roping, the ProAm's coming up in August. If you live anywhere near there, even if you're not a cowboy, if you're not roping, and you want to come by and see us.
Yeah, we'll have our booths there.
Yeah, somebody told me the other day, they said, yeah, I'd come by there. That's not that far. Just a couple hours from me. I'll come by and say hello. The Buckaroo Traditions gathering in Winnemucca in November. But what's another way that people could connect with? I don't want to say get involved. I don't think that's the right way to say it, but people to connect with, or partner with Wild Courage. And
well, let's start off with, I would love a producer for this podcast, as you got to watch set up for this morning with the cameras and the SD cards. It's amazing that any of this equipment works.
And
I'm just kidding.
Side note to the listeners.
Oh my gosh.
We had to We had to start over because Jeremy doesn't know how to remove
This whole
memory
thing,
from his computer.
yeah, it took like an hour and a half just to push a few buttons to do this because it's overwhelming to my brain. No, great question. Again, I think it just goes back to like, we want to be a resource. And I always forget about our website, but like, seriously, there's so many different ways you can get involved. And if you need help, we have a resource page with some amazing folks that can help you in this journey, which is the whole point of it, right? Is like, people ask, where's this all headed? Like you are right now. And I'm like, I think towards like healthy families.
Yeah.
Like, what if one guy can go on the journey of figuring out his crap so he can show up different to his marriage and to his kids? And then what if that's what we model to our kids? Yeah. So that our grandkids don't have to go through what our kids went through, what we went through, what our grandparents went through. And again, we're not throwing shame on any generations. It's like, I told somebody this weekend, I'm like, I was raised by somebody that's parents went through the Great Depression.
Yeah.
So I get like there wasn't access to what we now know with all this emotional and mental health stuff to our parents, let alone our grandparents.
Yeah.
So like, what if one guy says yes to this journey, gets help, gets counseling, goes to a fire, goes to a retreat, and it doesn't even have to be Wild Courage. Like, go find someone to sort through your stuff, because we've all been through stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we show up because of it. And what if we get to show our kids what a healthy marriage looks like? What if that divorce rate started going down because men had the actual courage to deal with their stuff? And I get it. I know how hard and scary it is, believe me, because I've done it. And so I think the whole point is family. And so I think that the natural evolution of this is going to be like, what does women's wild courage look like? What does marriage wild courage look like? Which would be so messy. And I don't even know how, we could dive into that. But I know people that do. You know what I mean? So I think that's the point of all of this. The natural evolution is like healthy family, healthy communities, and what that looks like. And so I don't know. I think there's lots of ways you can get plugged in with just the fires and some of the things we're dreaming about with like women's wild courage. And I don't know when that's gonna be, but there has been conversations about it. Because I think it's probably 50% of the feedback we get is from wives.
Yeah.
In amazing ways. Like, I understand my husband better because that guy is just like my husband. And now I understand some language, why he shows up the way he does, and I have grace for him. So I think it's all invitation, obviously.
Yeah.
The retreats are a great place to start.
Next retreat will be in the fall. Dates aren't totally nailed down yet.
Yeah, we got to figure that out this week.
But yeah,
sure.
The next one will be in the fall.
Yeah.
Hopefully at the same location.
Yeah, and all the stuff again is on the website.
Yeah. Cool. So resources on the website, local fires on the website.
Counselors.
Also, if you don't have one. Yeah. But yeah, under the resources, you'll find if you need for everything, if you need help walking through addiction or out of addiction, or if you just need to add tools to your toolbox so you have a better marriage that's better than the already awesome marriage you have, because we could all work on tools. All that stuff's available on the resources.
Yeah, and half the guys on our resources page do courses throughout the year.
Yeah.
Where you can plug into a community online and do the work. So I think Britain has one coming up real soon, the self-worth course, so check that out.
Yeah.
Porn. So, we got like experts in kind of almost every field.
Yeah.
Marriage, people, EMDR, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, very cool. Also, the event's coming up. If anybody wants to see where's the Wild Courage people going to be, all that stuff is on there. Cool. Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm grateful. It's crazy when your dreams become realities, and I think that's a byproduct of doing the work. It's like anything, if you want to get big muscles, you got to go to the gym, and do the work. And so this little pipe dream of, wild courage that hasn't just been my dream, but a lot of other guys too. And the traction that it's got, like, it's just overwhelming, like in a good way. Like, I can't believe that this is all happening, especially like coming off the retreat. Like, I remember the first one, I'm like, is anybody going to show up to this thing? Because I think we charged like $150 for the first retreat, you know, like, I hope somebody thinks this is worth $150.
Yeah.
And then just all the crazy stories that have come out of, and I have a hard time saying this because one of my biggest fears is feeling misunderstood. But the impact that this podcast has on people and the people that reach out, and it's because of the guests that are on it, not because of me. I just want to make that really clear. And I'm just so honored for the people that trust me with their stories.
Yeah.
And remind them all, if they listen to this, like, you guys and gals that have shared your stories on here so vulnerably and courageously have made a bigger impact than they'll ever know.
Yeah.
And I get to see a lot of that. And I would imagine that 90% of the people don't even reach out and be like, hey, Annie's story wrecked me, or Matt Robertson. Like, I'm not going to send every message to all these people that have been on the podcast, but like, it's making a huge impact and giving hope to people. And I'm really grateful for that, because that's my heart behind it. That's the point of all of it, is to sling some hope to people that don't have it. And it's happening through people's stories. And it's pretty crazy to me.
Yeah.
Pretty
Awesome.
grateful.
Cool. Well, thank you for sharing all that with us today.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you bet. Anytime. Couple rapid questions. One line, one answer, one sentence,
crap.
One sentence or one word. Some of them maybe just one word. One word, one sentence answers. Favorite food and why tacos?
I like tacos, I guess, but I'm a little finicky about it because I can't do cilantro. I can't do
no onions.
I can't do any of that. So I guess just
Boring white person cowboy tacos. Ground beef and ketchup.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That's about all I can do with them.
If there was anywhere in the world you could visit, where would it be?
Maine in the fall with my wife.
Dang.
The East Coast, when the leaves are changing. In the world, I know this is one sentence answer, but
Your sentences drag on forever anyway.
I know everyone's used to it. So I just, this country, like, I have no desire to like go to Europe for some reason.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm afraid to travel, but I think there's so much in our country to discover.
Totally. I agree.
I want to see that.
I want to go to Europe just once because it's my boys' and I's pipe dream. My boys are super into soccer.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to go to London to go to a Chelsea game.
Yeah, I have no desire to.
Yeah. And while I'm there, I'm going to eat some fish and chips.
Yeah, you got it.
Not? Yeah.
And I mean, I love Canada and Mexico too.
Yeah.
I want to see more of Canada.
Yeah, definitely. Last one. At what moment was it you realized I was superior roper? Just one word.
When you lost your hat yesterday.
Well, okay. With that, thank you guys for listening, and gals. Yeah, it's been good. Thanks, Jeremy, for sharing your story.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
Giving us an update, and yeah. Maybe we'll have Mary on next time to update.
Nope.
If Jeremy was telling, she's gonna be like, I got a few things to correct.
Yeah, I guarantee she would.
Yeah.
One last shout out to my friend Lacey, who does. She has a thing that's kind of we lock arms with Wild Courage, is the Sober Cowboy.
Oh yeah, you're wearing a hoodie right now.
Yeah, she sent me a bunch of stuff, and she's got such a heart for addiction in the cowboy community.
Yeah.
And she's really lasered in there and doing some incredible things. So she's easy to find on social media, Sober Cowboy. So
awesome.
Shout out to my friend Lacey.
Cool.
All right. Love you, brother. Thank you for doing
too.
this. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Love you. Thanks.